What if you could escape your boring 9 to 5 life by pretending to be a criminal and suddenly everyone believes you're the real deal? In the gritty streets of London, a broke comedian and two misfit actors get the gig of a lifetime. Go undercover for the police by acting like gangsters. Sounds easy, right? But what starts as a low-risk con spirals into a deadly web of drugs, double crosses, and deception. In a dim corner of London, where comedy clubs echo with half-laughs and faded dreams, a struggling stand-up comedian stumbles into a role she never auditioned for. Life isn't glamorous for her, she's witty, broke, and just trying to stay afloat. Her days are spent teaching improv to aspiring actors, hoping one day the right opportunity will come knocking. And then, one evening it does. Only, it doesn't wear a suit or hold a microphone. It wears a badge. A sharp-suited, smooth-talking police officer from the Metropolitan Force walks into her life with a bizarre proposition. He doesn't need actors for a stage or a film set, he needs them for something far more dangerous. He's putting together undercover sting operations and thinks her improv background might be the perfect tool to help him out. The job? Pretend to be criminals? Play the role so convincingly that the bad guys won't know they're being played. It's risky, it's secretive, and if anything goes wrong, well, there's no script to save them. Intrigued and desperate for something more exciting than open mic nights, she agrees. She recruits two of her students from Class 1, a charismatic, confident young man with dreams of making it big as an actor. The other, a socially awkward IT worker who rarely leaves his comfort zone but is drawn to the thrill of the unknown. Together, the trio forms an unlikely team, improvisers turned infiltrators. Their first assignment is low-key. Check out a corner shop suspected of selling counterfeit cigarettes. It sounds easy, even silly. But the moment they step into the role, things begin to spiral. They come across a mid-level criminal known on the streets as Fly. He's slick, savvy, and always looking for new opportunities. Seeing something in the trio, he offers them a deal offload a stash of stolen cocaine. Instead of panicking, the comedian improvises. She creates a bold plan and cons a rival Albanian gang into unknowingly buying back their own drugs. It's audacious, it's insane, and it works. Fly is impressed. To him, they're not amateurs, they're legitimate players who get things done. Suddenly, the trio finds themselves climbing the criminal ranks faster than they ever imagined. Encouraged by the police officer who brought them in, they continue their descent into London's criminal underworld. They take on new identities, dress the part, speak the lingo, and start believing their own performances. What started as a roleplay exercise quickly turns into a dangerous lifestyle. Soon, they're tasked with intimidating a man named Sagar, just another name, just another job. But Sagar panics, he runs, and in a tragic accident, he dies. The news spreads fast. The trio, still seen by many as just actors, now find themselves suspected by real police as being real criminals. Their cover gives them unexpected street credibility, but at what cost? Fly, impressed by their growing reputation, brings them deeper into his world. He sends them to negotiate a high-stakes deal with another gang, but things go sideways. The meeting collapses, tempers flare, and the group begins to feel the true weight of the danger they're in. It's no longer a game, it's survival. Late at night, doubts creep in. The once clear boundary between acting and reality begins to blur. They sit in silence, wondering if they're in too deep. Every word they speak, every move they make could mean life or death. The IT guy, usually quiet, starts questioning everything. "We were just actors," he whispers. "How did we end up here?" Then everything changes. The comedian begins to suspect the truth about the officer who brought them into this world. Her instincts tell her something is off. She investigates and uncovers a chilling revelation: he's corrupt. He hasn't been following orders. He's been using them for his own agenda, manipulating events from behind the curtain. He had no clearance, no official backing, just a twisted ambition. Before she can bring this information to light, he's silenced, killed. Not by random violence, but by Fly's own trusted enforcer, a ruthless woman named Shosh. Cold, composed, and deadly, Shosh doesn't tolerate loose ends. The trio watches the news in shock as they see the officer's death reported. There's no mention of his corruption, no mention of them. The web tightens. Fly's boss, an elusive crime lord known as Metcalfe, finds the dead officer's phone and begins combing through his contacts. He knows there's a leak, and he's determined to find it. It's not long before the trio is on his radar. He gives the order, eliminate them. But Fly, in a surprising twist, spares them. Maybe he respects them. Maybe he's grateful. Or maybe he sees a bigger play. Whatever his reasons, he lets them go. But their freedom is short-lived. The police catch up with them and arrest them. They're interrogated, pressured, accused, but with no hard evidence tying them to the rogue officer, the authorities can't pin anything concrete. Still, the situation is dire. Their lives are in shambles. The only way out is a final, desperate gamble. The comedian approaches Fly with a dangerous proposal. If he agrees to wear a wire and help set up a meeting with the Albanian gang, she'll use her contacts to ensure his immunity. It's risky. It could get them all killed. But it's the only shot they have left. Fly agrees. The deal is set. A secret meeting between Fly and the Albanians. The trio waits nearby, hidden, ready to act if things go south. The tension is suffocating. Every second feels like a countdown. The building is surrounded. The air is thick. They all know this could be their final scene. Fly meets the gang. He plays his part, but the Albanians sense something is off. The police, waiting in the shadows, close in. The trap is sprung. Gunshots echo. Chaos erupts. In the confusion, Metcalf tries to escape, but he's gunned down not by the police, but by Shosh. Cold as ever, she turns on her boss, executes him, and vanishes without a trace. Her motives remain a mystery. Fly survives. The police take control. Arrests are made. And for the trio, the mission is over. Or so it seems. In the aftermath, Fly reveals that he always knew the truth. He saw through their act. He knew they weren't real criminals, but he admired their courage, their skill, their loyalty, and for that, he rewards them with a generous amount of cash and a simple compliment. You three? You've got real talent. That moment lingers. It's more than praise, it's validation. These three misfits, who stumbled into the criminal world pretending to be something they're not, had earned the respect of a real player in the game. The line between acting and reality had blurred completely. Life slowly returns to a new kind of normal. The aspiring actor finally catches a break. After surviving threats, lies, and gunfire, the stage feels like a safer place. He books a role in a West End production, nothing major, but enough to launch a proper career. The newspapers don't know his backstory, but a few casting agents whisper that he's got real-world grit in his performance. Maybe it's trauma. Maybe it's truth. The shy IT guy, once hiding behind spreadsheets and screens, takes his cut of the cash and opens a small wine shop. It's quiet, simple. Peaceful, the exact opposite of everything he just lived through, but something's changed in him. He speaks with more confidence now, he laughs more. Sometimes, he even tells stories about that one time he did something wild. Nobody believes him. That's exactly how he likes it. And the comedian! She becomes a legend. Her improv classes triple in size. Students beg her for stories, for secrets. Is it true, they ask? Were you really undercover? She just smiles and says, yes, but I can't tell you what was real and what was performance. Her old gigs don't feel the same. The comedy clubs that once ignored her are now inviting her back as a headliner. But her style has changed, less punchlines, more story. She weaves suspense and danger into her sets, playing with the truth like a master illusionist. Crowds love it. Nobody can tell if she's exaggerating or dead serious. Meanwhile, the story doesn't die. A new detective, seasoned, methodical, with a sharp eye, has taken over the case. He didn't know Billings, didn't trust his files. But what he finds baffles him. He uncovers hidden surveillance, corrupted reports, dead ends. Everyone involved seems to have been wearing a mask. The detective goes deep. He interviews Fly, who says very little. He interviews the trio, but their stories are full of contradictions, some intentional, some not. He builds a timeline. He uncovers communications between Billings and rival gangs. The deeper he digs, the more he sees that this wasn't just a rogue operation. It was a house of mirrors, but the case lacks closure. Billings is dead. Metcalf is gone. Shosh has disappeared. And the trio? They're free, technically innocent, possibly heroes, possibly criminals. The detective stands in his office late one night, staring at a corkboard full of photos, notes, and string. It makes no sense, and yet it's the most real thing he's ever investigated. Rumors continue to swirl. A podcast picks up the story. Then a true crime series. Someone suggests a film adaptation. The comedian is approached for rights. She declines with a smirk. Make it up yourselves, she says. That's what I did. And somewhere in London, in a quiet pub, the trio meets from time to time. They drink, they laugh, they remember. None of them are the same. But they share a bond that few will ever understand. They didn't mean to become criminals. They weren't trained to be spies. But when life gave them the craziest role imaginable, they stepped up and played it to perfection. Now, they're back in the world. But part of them will always remain in the shadows, part legend, part myth, part warning. Because pretending to be a criminal is dangerous. But becoming one, even for a moment, can change your life forever. So, After all the chaos, confusion, and twists, what was Deep Cover really about? At first glance, it's a darkly comedic crime thriller. A group of struggling performers pretending to be criminals thrown into a dangerous world they were never trained for. But beneath that entertaining surface, it's something more. It's a story about identity, transformation, and the cost of pretending. Let's rewind and look at the journey from the top. It all started with a comedian out of work, desperate, drifting. When she's offered a strange job by a shady police officer named Billings, she says yes before fully understanding what it is. Her job? Recruit two others and pretend to be gangsters as part of an undercover police sting. No real weapons, no actual crime, just improv, or so they thought. She brings in two fellow misfits, an overeager aspiring actor and a shy IT guy with stage fright, but a sharp brain. Together, they form an unlikely trio. On paper, they have no business doing undercover work, but somehow their weird chemistry, improvisation skills, and pure dumb luck make them work surprisingly well. They slip into their criminal roles, they gain trust. They start believing in themselves, even as everything around them gets more dangerous. Their first mission is small: scope out a corner shop suspected of selling contraband cigarettes. But that mission leads to another and another, each one pushing them deeper into the world of real crime. They start intimidating real gang members. They handle drugs, guns, threats. Their roles as fake criminals start becoming dangerously close to the real thing. With nowhere else to turn, they take one final gamble. The comedian strikes a deal with Fly, the charismatic and deadly gangster they once deceived. She asks him to wear a wire, help them set up a sting to bring down the Albanian crime family and clear their names. It's a suicide mission, but they're out of options. The sting goes down in a warehouse. The trio waits in the shadows, hearts pounding. Fly meets with the gang. The police are positioned all around, ready to pounce. But the Albanians sense something's off, and just like that, chaos explodes. Gunfire, shouting, confusion. In the middle of the chaos, Metcalf, the Albanian gang boss, tries to run. But he doesn't get far. Shosh, the mysterious enforcer who's been one step ahead the whole time, guns him down. Then she vanishes into the night. No trace, no explanation, just silence. Her motives, like her loyalties, remain a mystery. When the dust settles, Fly survives. The trio survives. The police make arrests. And the job? It's finally over. But what happens next is just as fascinating as the action that came before. Fly, surprisingly, turns out to be a man of honor in his own twisted way. He admits he always knew they weren't real criminals, but he respected their guts, their commitment, their ability to adapt under pressure. And in a final twist, he rewards them not with punishment, but with money and something far more powerful: validation. You've got real talent, he tells them.